In this video, we'll take a look at a resume and how our sample person can tailor it when she is applying for a specific job. I've included a job description for a junior front-end web developer for a fictional company, Techland, and the teacher's notes for this video. I'm also including the sample resume that I put together in an earlier video for our fictional person, Jane Coder. I'll show you how I would adjust Jane's resume when she applies for this specific job. This is something you should do every time you apply for a job. The goal will be to make your resume as appealing as possible to the person reviewing it. You want the reviewer to quickly make the connection that you have done all or most of the things they are asking for. First, go ahead and hit pause and read through the job description in the notes. Feel free to also pull up the original sample resume. Okay, let's talk through what we're looking for here. Are there any major themes, technologies, or requirements that stand out to you in the job description? I can see right away from the first bullet point under what you'll be doing that this job focuses on building responsive websites. I also see a bullet under the requirements section that says this person must have an understanding of the principles of responsive design. The fact that this skill is mentioned twice lets me know that it must be pretty important for the job. This is something we should definitely highlight on the resume. Let's make a note of responsive design and keep looking through the job description. The first bullet under the requirements section mentions that this person should have experience with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Since that is at the top of the requirements list, you can bet that the person reviewing the resume will scan the resume looking for those terms right away. Let's make a note and make sure to highlight those on the resume as well. I also see that they are looking for basic understanding of Git. Again, I'll make a note so we can make sure that that shows up on Jane's resume. Okay, next up I see Photoshop or Illustrator. What if our fictional person hasn't used either of these tools? This is a great time to point out that you may not have 100% of the qualifications listed on a job description. That's okay. If you're only missing a few of the bullet points, you should certainly still apply. You will find out that oftentimes employers are more interested in your ability to learn, particularly for entry-level jobs like this one. Back to the job description. The next 3 bullet points cover what I call soft skills. They are talking about learning, communicating, and collaboration. Let's make a note of those terms. I'll show you in a few moments how to work them into your resume, but I also wanted to point out that these types of skills are great to talk about in a cover letter as well. We'll go over drafting a cover letter in a future video. Finally, you'll see a nice-to-have section at the bottom of the job description. Employers often add sections like this to help them identify standout candidates. They may already have someone in the company who does these things, but they're looking for someone new to potentially take over. Or these may be things they are looking to incorporate later down the line, but they just haven't gotten to it yet. Regardless, if you have even one of these nice-to-have skills, it could make a big difference for your application. Let's pretend our sample person happens to have some experience with the third bullet on the list, CSS animations. I'll make a note of it. All right, take a moment to pull up the sample resume from the teacher's notes if you haven't already. I'll talk you through how I would edit Jane's resume to highlight the notes we've taken in order to make this resume suitable for this particular job. Jane already lists HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at the top of her resume in the technical skills sections. I would leave this as is, as those skills were mentioned several times throughout the job posting. Next, we noted that the job description mentioned Git. I would add a line that says Tools after Languages in the technical skills summary. After Tools, I would add Git and GitHub. Jane has used both of them throughout the course of her tech degree. Jane should really highlight her experience with responsive web design, since it was mentioned several times in the job description. I would suggest moving the animal shelter website project to be the top highlighted project in her portfolio section. Employers love to see when you have done real work for clients. This project also demonstrates that she had to do some communication and collaboration with an outside party. That's important because communication and collaboration were both mentioned in the job description as well. Also, Jane remembers that she used a few CSS animations on that website. Remember that CSS animations was one of the nice-to-have skills mentioned in the job description. I would suggest that she adds a line at the end of that project description that says, Incorporated CSS animations for a delightful photo gallery experience. Now, the photo gallery project that Jane had originally listed on her portfolio section is a great project that shows off her HTML, CSS, and JavaScript skills, which are important. But If Jane has a different project that highlights her responsive design skills in addition to all of those things, that would be even better. I would switch out the photo gallery project for the following: Treehouse Tech Degree Project, responsive layout. Built a responsive mobile first website using HTML and CSS. Utilized media queries to accommodate for small, medium, and large screen sizes. Gained an understanding of Chrome developer tools to troubleshoot. Finally, let's take a look at Jane's professional experience and see if there are any areas that we can adjust to further highlight her experience with some of those soft skills mentioned: learning, communication, and collaboration. Great news! Jane's first bullet point under her current office manager job talks about collaboration. Let's leave that as is. Take a look at the next bullet point that says established an employee recognition program which led to reduced turnover in the warehouse by 20% in the first year. How could Jane rewrite this to talk about, say, communication? Jane remembers that as part of the employee recognition program, she communicated the results to executives in the company regularly. Let's rewrite that bullet to say, communicated who the top performers were to executives via an employee recognition program, which led to reduced turnover in the warehouse by 20% in the first year. We certainly are not looking to stretch the truth here. You should always be honest about everything you share on your resume. All we are doing is thinking about different ways to highlight Jane's existing experience to make it the most relevant for this job. Let's move on to Jane's earlier work experience as an administrative assistant and see if there are any bullets there we can edit. Take a look at the third bullet point. Merge data from 2 legacy financial software applications into one efficient and modern system. Jane recalls that she actually had to learn an entirely new software suite to accomplish this task. Let's move this bullet to the top of the list and rewrite it to say, learned a new financial software application to merge data from 2 legacy systems. Perfect! Do you see how Jane was able to take some of her previous work experience and use transferable skills like learning, communication, and collaboration to show how even though she hasn't worked in tech before, she still has highly relevant soft skills? I've included the newly edited version of Jane's resume in the teacher's notes so you can see all of the edits we talked about. Just by making a few changes, this resume is now more suited to the junior front-end web developer job that Jane is applying for. Soon, you will begin applying to jobs yourself. Use the concepts that you learned in this video to edit your resume each time you apply for a new job. Save a new copy of your resume each time and be sure you are attaching the correct file when you apply. Earlier, I mentioned how we can also talk about some of the skills in the job description when we write a cover letter. Let's go over how to do that in an upcoming video.